So we've got possibilities. Say it with me. Leadership is saying yes, but also no. Leadership is saying yes, but also saying no, right? It's learning to evaluate everything that you have going on, what's going to serve your community best, your library the best, and what's, how are you going to serve yourself? Because going back to what Rebecca said at the beginning, you have to start leadership with yourself. So we've talked about creating space and letting go, and this idea of leadership as the ability to say yes and no is really, really challenging for me. And I think that's why I have this slide. But I struggle with it like every day. I want to get on the opportunity bus every time it comes by, right? But sometimes that means like trying to ride two buses going in opposite directions. So that makes me really crazy and not efficient at my job. So choose the best possibilities. It's okay to say no. It's okay to stall. It's okay to ask for time. It's so much better to ask for a minute to think about something and make an informed decision than it is to try and backtrack and be like this yes-no kind of a leader, because then you don't have any credibility and it doesn't feel good. So you can create space for yourself when you are strategically saying no. And to, again, reference that article from the Community Toolbox, they have a list of really, really good questions to ask yourself when you're considering possibilities, including which possibilities bring about the best results, what are you most passionate about, and what possibilities will you learn the most from.
And with that said, the best possibility is not always the safe possibility. Sometimes you'll say yes to something that is more of a strategic reach. And being creative often means stepping outside of the boundaries to discover something totally new. And that can be scary, that can be risky. It's okay, be courageous. In the words of Brene Brown, dare greatly. To be innovative, you need to think in a different way and try something new. Sometimes we're hesitant to take a risk because we feel discouraged or hopeless. Maybe the task at hand seems insurmountable, and so you just decide not to try. Community Toolbox argues that sometimes we're not even aware on a conscious level that this feeling of hopelessness holds us back from thinking creatively. Instead, we just believe that we don't care or that nothing's possible. So we conclude that we shouldn't invest our efforts in trying. If you're stuck in this rut, it's time to talk it out. Find a mentor or somebody else you trust that will listen, just listen to you brainstorm. And along the same vein, it's probably time to test some old assumptions. When you're discovering and creating new possibilities, re-examine all these assumptions that you have surrounding your project. So for example, if you're revamping a stale program, you might make a few assumptions like, there aren't enough resources to make this change, or bigger is better. But is that necessarily true? Are there partners you can bring on board? Can you simplify the program and make it stronger? What other assumptions might be holding you back? When taking a risk, it's important to know your team. Do they have passion for this project? It comes back to what Cody and Heather have been saying about passion. Without energy and investment, a big, risky project is going to fail. It's doomed. Also, how's your team morale? If you have a strong group with good morale, you can take a bigger risk. They can handle it. However, sometimes your team maybe needs a little bit of a boost in morale, and this is the time to look for something that's a surefire win. So it's knowing the environment of your organization. But with that said, some of the biggest wins in history have been the biggest risks. And the Community Toolbox uses a really great example. They talk about the Montgomery bus boycotts. Thousands of people risked their jobs and sometimes their lives to secure rights. The risk was huge, but the gain was huge as well. And finally, whenever you take a risk, have a plan B. That's just smart. It's okay to risk and fail, but it's smart to have a contingent plan lined up in case you need it. And in addition to having a contingent plan, you can be more resilient by reframing failure. If something doesn't go as planned, is it really a failure or is it a learning opportunity? Risk and loss can be preparation for the next challenge. And you can use every risk as an opportunity to learn new skills to strengthen your organization. When you look at it this way, failure becomes possibility. And it's a possibility to reiterate, redefine, try again with a smarter solution.